Hey everyone, this is Tim Jennette the Metal Meeple, and this is our top 10 favorite games. So last year on the Dice Tower, we went over our top 10 favorite games. These games can include board games and card games and miniature games. And now it's the 2016 revision. It's been a year. We've played tons of games. It's time to see what's changed, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. Obviously, I'm Tim Jennette. I go by the Metal Meeple, and you can check out my reviews on the Dice Tower. Eric?
I'm Eric.
Stoa's Glory.
Yay.
This is Eric. What's your last name, Eric?
Ledford.
Cool.
I am Matt Robear. I co-host a podcast with Tim, Meeple Core.
I am Jeremy Hodges, also the Meeple Core groupie and a professional high fiver.
A
Sweet.
professional high fiver. You will see later.
Yes.
We're going to start with me with our number 10s. Here we go. My number 10 is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. The coolest thing about this game is that you can play it with a ton of people, and I really like the fact that you got different roles and such, and it plays super differently with if you're the forensic investigator as compared to a player or an investigator or whatever. So our forensic scientist and the players, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so it's just super awesome. I think that this is the one game that replaced Shadows over Camelot for me on my top 10, only because of the length of it, probably. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Y'all like this?
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy? Oh,
Yes.
because it dropped Shadows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have kept Shadows.
Yeah, I like Shadows as well, but it is a good game.
But yeah, definitely a good game.
They don't compete against each other, I don't think, but
I don't think they compete, but I mean, I guess it's that whole trader thing. I don't have a lot of those in my top 10.
Right.
Is really what it is.
It is definitely a lot shorter than
It's definitely a lot
Shadows.
shorter.
Yeah.
But I just like the fact that, it's a totally different role when you're an investigator as comparison to the main person that's a forensic scientist.
Right.
So it's just really, really fun. So anyway, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
cool. My number 10 is Celestia. I like it because it's real simple. Components are awesome. It's probably my favorite push your luck type of game. So that's why it made it on my top 10.
This game's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah, I really like this. Have you played it, Jeremy? You
I've
played
played
it,
it, yeah.
Did you play
A
at
few
Dice Tower
times.
Con with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think the artwork's great, and I mean, it's an airship. Do you like
Yeah.
the airship, Eric?
Yeah. The components, like I said, big chunky meeples and the airship is really nice as well. So other than that, it doesn't have a lot of components, but it's just a simple game. We have fun playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the look of it really did it for me. That I looked at that game and I thought, this is a beautiful game.
Yeah, it's a pretty game.
Simple, but very pretty.
Matt, do you own that?
No, I thought about getting it, but
Probably be good with kids, I guess.
I'm sure Eric plays with his kids. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Oh,
But
played
I'm
mine.
thinking about getting it.
Correction.
Played my copy a bunch.
Yes. When he was saying us, I guess he was talking about
Yeah.
us or
yeah,
we or
the
whatever.
gamers.
Right.
yep.
My number 10 is Orleans or Orleans, I guess however you feel like saying that. I enjoy taking people, putting them in a bag and distributing them to get more people to put in my bag. There's different routes to go to get your victory. There's different tracks and all this other stuff. And it's just it's a fun game for me. So Orleans.
I think you like it because the last year you put deck builders as a whole as a whole line. So this kind of just takes that place, I guess. Or
It could somewhat.
Maybe it didn't take the place.
Yeah. How do you see my list?
Oh, you had it flipped open.
Oh, no. Sorry.
I'll try not to look. I looked away.
Jeremy, you played this?
I have not. I actually made a list of games when I put together my top 10 of games I have not played that would probably be a contender, and that was one of them.
Oh wow. Yeah, we need to after this thing, we're gonna play it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, that'd be kind
Nice.
of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game night.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel.
All right. My number 10. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Legacy Gears of Time. This game I love a lot because there's so many aspects of you can try to put your luck, or you can try to be safe and play the safer route, but you're probably not going to win. And it's a lot of guessing and anticipating what other people are going to do, or even denying yourself points to take points away from other people. So it's a fun little game of like almost figuring out what other people are going to do, because once you go so far back, you can't go back to the front and correct what you did. You just have to go with what you got. So it's a lot of deducting kind of other people's minds. What are you going to do and how can I benefit from that?
Cool. You all played this, I think.
You brought it to Eric's, I believe.
I did.
Yep.
Matt and Eric played. You did not play with
I did
us.
not play.
It's been so long ago that I don't really remember the mechanics of it, so can't really add.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it, and you talked about it previously. So when you brought it, it was like, okay, this is the game you talked about before. It was enjoyable. Is it an older game?
No, it actually came out, I think, Gen Con 2014.
Yeah, I was going to say 2014.
Oh, really? It just has an old look to it. I don't know why I thought it was an older game then.
It's not the same
Yeah.
people that made Damage Report, is it?
No.
I don't know why I keep thinking that. Anyway, it probably isn't.
No.
I doubt it is.
Okay, well, it just the
Definitely
art,
not.
I guess, kind of looks old to it, but
It does have kind of an older look, almost like a Looney Tunes look, I
Right.
would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's, I mean, a little nicer, not as cartoony, even though they're cartoons. But
How do you do that?
It's definitely not kind of like the very crisp art that we see today, or the very kind of like pastel type art that we see in a lot of games today.
Gotcha.
I remember I liked it.
Cool.
My number 9 is Splendor. I just like it a lot. It's a real chill type of game. You play it at the end of the night. It's a car development, collecting type of game where you collect gems. So you buy cars that give you more gems. So, yeah, I just like the making that type of engine and just progressing.
Right.
Yeah, Splendor's good. I debated. Well, spoiler alert. Apparently, I debated put it on my list multiple times, even last year. But for me, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my games have theme. And I mean, Splendor has a theme, but it's more of an abstract, just kind of doing
Right.
mechanisms or whatnot. And that I think that's the only reason why it probably got on my short list. What about you all?
Then I like it. It's a good time.
Yeah.
The wife keeps you quiet. No,
It is the quiet game.
yeah, it is the quiet, thinky game.
You all want to not talk for the next 25 minutes?
No, it is kind of good. I don't know. It's a calming silence. You're just sitting there kind of thinking, and it is enjoyable trying to like pay attention to what someone else has got and taking gems just so that they can't complete what they're trying to do. And so it's got a little bit of take that in it, I guess, but good time.
Cool.
Pretty game.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
All right. Well, it's time to shut up and get gems because my number 9 is Splendor. So
Oh, really? Oh, we got a double.
yeah, we got a double in the exact same spot. So, like I said, I guess the only thing to add on to what Eric said is I do enjoy the red, white, and blue Murica mix of collecting gems. So you always have to yell Murica when you get the red, white, and blue. So
Merca. We do that in 5 tribes when you're drawing the meeples out of the bag and it's like red, white, and blue. You're like, Merca.
yep,
Put more meeples. Merca.
anytime to yell Murica, good time.
What do we got for you, Jeremy? Is
Right.
it Splendor?
Number 9 is no, it's not, but that is a good game. So number 9 is actually a new one for me, Forbidden Stars.
And why?
And the reason why I like Forbidden Stars, I like games that are, I don't traditionally like games that are area control. I can enjoy them, but they're not really top tier games for me. I think this was the first area control game I played where I really thought, okay, this is a great game. I will love this. I've played it 4 or 5 times now, and I've loved it each time. So it's almost having a game in a kind of realm that I don't normally would put in my top tier of games. To have one that gets there really sets it apart.
You haven't played StarCraft, have you?
No, I have not played StarCraft.
Wait. Yeah, Forbidden Stars. You said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has the StarCraft mechanism.
Oh, really?
You'd probably like it.
Oh, wow. I probably would like it then.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a retheming or anything. I mean, it's totally different games, but they have the whole order selection where you put it on top of each other, then you do like top down. So, I mean, if that's what you like about it too. That's
Yeah, I do like that a lot where you can block people by putting orders down on top of theirs and
Yeah.
kind of dictate the game. And there's almost an anxiety to it of like, oh, is he going to put it on there? He can really mess me up if he does that. So seeing if they'll see that move and take it.
cool. Yeah, I want to try this out. My number 9 is probably the lightest game on my list, and that's Tumbling Dice. I would set this up on my table and literally play it every time I'm in my basement for months and months and months. And then I started doing more reviews and podcasts, and my table can't be occupied as much. But it's really cool. I just like the fact I went out and bought so many more dice for this game, just have it up to 8 players and the handicap dice and everything. And it's a super fun game. You can get anybody playing it. So tumbling dice.
Yeah, like I like actually adding the different variants, adding different dice. A D20 or a D8 or D12.
The handicap dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely getting anyone to play. I know at band practice, we've got 3 guys that don't necessarily play games too regularly, and they love that game. So it's always fun to sit there and flick the dice out and do the thing. So
yeah, I like that game.
I trust your opinions.
No. You haven't played that either?
I've not played it either.
We're going to have a night of gaming, Jeremy.
Wow.
The top 10 games that Jeremy hasn't played.
I think this happened last time. I think every game we talked about, he didn't know or play it or anything. So.
I guess I am kind of the guest appearance at game days for you guys.
Oh,
so I have my own game group that I run normally that are kind of separate. So we do play a lot of different games.
Yeah, I think you kept a tally, actually, of every game you hadn't played that we were talking about.
Last year. Oh, yeah, and it was a lot of them.
We need to get to them all.
All right.
All right, my number 8 is somewhat of an older game, but I just discovered it this year. It is Alhambra. It is a very nice family game. It's easy enough for my kids to grasp. It's got very few actions. You're pretty much just taking money, buying something, or you can reconstruct your Alhambra. The very simple rules as far as like how to construct your Alhambra. So the first time I got this, I kind of bought it on a whim to see if they would like it. My kids actually, asked to play it again. So that's always a good sign. So number 8, Alhambra.
I want to try this. This is pretty much a classic at this point, isn't
right.
it?
Yeah, that's why, like I said, it's an older game. Me and Eric played it at what's the name of that famous day? Board Game Day.
Right.
International
Tabletop Day. So when me and Eric played that before you ended up showing up that day. So
oh yeah, you did.
Yes.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh well. We'll play it.
Yes.
That'll be on the list today. Except no one probably has it with them. So.
No, I didn't bring it. I can.
Add to my list.
You haven't played that either?
No.
Have you played games? No, I'm just kidding. He totally plays way different games.
Do you even game, bro?
Do you have a game, bro?
No.
All right, Jeremy.
All right, my number 8, funny enough, is Alchemist. So Alchemist, I love this game. I love logic puzzles. I love deduction, and you do a lot of that in this game. And so it speaks kind of right to me and how my brain works. And so I love going through, and there's nothing more satisfying than figuring things out and crossing things out and eliminating it down and finally knowing this is how it works. I know how it works now. And I love the kind of push your luck in the beginning where you're making guesses. The game forces you to play the game sooner than you normally would. And it makes it very, very interesting because it rewards you for that. And the combination of those two, I just find incredibly fun.
Are you excited about the expansion?
I am really excited about the expansion. I don't know exactly how the Golem works yet, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great game. I think I would put it on my list, except for some reason, I forgot why I hated it. Well, not hate it, but there's one thing I didn't like about it, and I think that's just kind of, I don't remember. We did it last time we played it. Each time I play it, this happens, and I'm like, oh man, like everything but that I like.
I think it was how harsh the penalty was if you were wrong. Was
that what it was?
Yeah, with your grant or whatever you're putting out, your research.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what it was.
It was just how harsh it was on you if you made a mistake.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually. And it actually happened to me on that game, is if you do make one mistake, it pretty much takes you out of the running for the game. So it is really tight. So that one action might set you back 2 or 3 actions, which is like a whole round of the game. So
yeah, that's true.
Right. It was on my list last year. It fell off. It was my 10. It fell off merely just because we haven't played it, I don't think, since then. So
yeah, we haven't really got to that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do enjoy it. It is fun. It just hasn't came to the table, I guess. So kind of wouldn't know really what to say about it. And 2, just, other things have came into place since then.
That's fair.
Funny enough, I actually had played that, and it was a contender for my top 10 last year and didn't make it. And this year I changed my mind.
Yeah, you've played it quite a bit since then.
Yeah, I'd only played it once since then. And your first try on that game can be very frustrating.
Cool. My number 8 is Thebes. Thebes was on my list last year as well, and it's probably one of those games where a lot of these guys aren't going to agree with it, but the biggest thing I like about this game is the fact that you're drawing from a bag, and I love the randomness of drawing from a bag and just seeing what you pull out, that pressure luck style aspect to it. And I really like the card game version as well, but I think I like Thebes way more just because the movement around or moving around and collecting the cards that way and such. So go ahead, bash it.
Yeah,
Well, you can't pull cards out of a bag, so that's the first part. That's why you like the original better. So
That's true, yeah. There's no bag involved.
Totally opposite and say, I don't like it because you're pulling stuff out of the bag. Because it's mostly going to be sand, and you get no points for sand. So
It's not sand for me.
yeah.
Game designers, if you want to sell Tim a game, just take a bunch of random crap, put it in a bag, and sell it to him. He'll take it.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. I just really like that aspect to it. And, I get it. The game isn't designed to the point where it's like super balanced and, not lucky. It's got tons of luck, but obviously this is more of a favorite games than
Right.
top 10 games.
Yes.
So anyway, that's Thebes.
Yep. And I will actually say that I actually enjoyed the card game a little bit more. Although there was like one broken card in the card game that you might want to pitch or whatever. It was like one cost and something that's really
It's
similar
like one
to
cost and draw out of the bag.
Right.
And the rest of them are like 3 or 4 cost and then draw out of the bag.
Right.
It's like, what?
wait a minute, am I wrong? Can you draw out of the bag in the card game?
Well, it's not
Or,
draw out of the bag.
sorry, draw out of the deck.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
oh wow, oops, sorry.
Crumple the cards
Yeah,
and
the-
stuff.
All right. So my number 8 is Teach You. And I like it a lot. It's probably my favorite card game because it's not only like a partnership game where you're partnering with someone else. It's a ladder climbing, trick taking type of game, and we always have a lot of fun playing it. It's probably went down a little bit since last year for me, since you need exactly 4. That's kind of the downside of it. So we don't get it played too often.
Yeah, I like Teach You a lot. It's one of those games where you're right. If you got 4 players and they're competent and you want to play just like one game for the rest of the night,
Right.
because I mean, you usually don't play Teach You like a short period of time. I don't think so.
play up to like 500 points.
Right. Yeah. Good game.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I had more theme and components and stuff, it'd probably be on my list, but maybe short list for me, even though I'm terrible at it.
My number 7, actually, this one really surprised me, was Stockpile. This is a game that I can't really think of anything like it, and I thought it was okay until I flipped the board and played the other side, the advanced side, and we got some of the characters from the expansion. And the kind of randomness of it, like you have in stock markets, of things that go up and down, like hedging your bets, knowing a little bit of secret information, sub-public information, trying to manipulate people by selling some things, making them think you know something to get them to do the same thing. Just makes it a really fun game.
Well, Stockpile is awesome.
Yes.
Have you played it with the expansion?
I have.
Do you like it? I haven't played the expansion.
forecast dice. Yeah, it's
Pretty awesome.
more fun in my opinion. It's still good the original way, but I don't know. I really like it.
Man, yeah, I can't recommend this enough for people who like stock games. I'm really bad at stock games. So I mean, even though this one's like lighter as
Right.
far as stock goes, but I'm just stock games I want to like, I'm just not good at them, which is probably why they're not on my favorite list.
And I'll say that, we played it, and we've only actually played the basic side without the characters. And it was a lot of fun. So once we do have some more time and we get to flip the board like you did and play the advanced side, I think it would be even better.
Oh yeah.
I'll play with you in a heartbeat.
My number 7 is a Stefan Feld game that Matt probably called out. It's Amerigo.
Yes.
It's a giant box and it's got so much cool stuff in it and has the little random tower from Shogun where you drop all the cubes and they separate and you do different actions and such. And yeah, it's got a little bit of randomness with that, but everybody's subjected to the same randomness. And I like the puzzle element of building your buildings on the islands and everything and trying to figure out what you need and where you need to go to get the most points and everything. Oh man, this game is great. I know a lot of people think that, the rest of the Stefan Feld games are better, and they probably are mechanically. I just have a lot of fun with Amerigo. What about you all?
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of times I noticed that this almost made my list. I think it's just been the length of time in between, and I tried to stick with games maybe I own and know a little bit better.
No, it's fair.
To put on my list. But it was one of the games that after we got done, and we've played it again since then, but I wanted to play it again. The mechanics, the rondelle, and all the cubes and all that stuff. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and all the commodities to try and run around and collect and get to these islands first, and it's a good time.
Oh yeah, it's super good. Again, Jeremy. Again.
I
haven't played this game.
All right.
Yeah, I like it a lot as well. I actually prefer the dice tower in Shogun, which you haven't played yet, but it is kind of weird that, you go attack in Shogun and then you put
random stuff happens.
Right. You could gain armies by, going and doing an attack on a different province. You gain them on the way. So it's a little thematic there as well. But I like the dice tower. It makes things a little bit more random. So my number 7 is Ghost Stories. I like it a lot. It's my favorite co-op type of game. It's really hard, thematic. So when you do actually get a win, it's that much more fulfilling. So we've only played it a couple times here, but
yeah, I think the coolest thing about it is the expansion that allows you to have the all versus one mechanism. Like, you don't have to play it like that, but
Black
it's
Secrets.
another. Is it Black Secrets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one, even though it probably isn't my preferred way to play it, but it is nice to have that option.
yeah, it bumps it up to 5 players.
Jeremy.
It was on my list of games I haven't played that could be a contender.
I promise he just doesn't play the same games we do, is what it is.
I feel like I have to put a list of hundreds of board games I've played to legitimize myself now.
I think a lot of the ones you're putting on there we haven't played though, so or maybe
Fair
so
enough.
far. So
Unless I bring them over and force you
That's
to
a
play
fair
them.
point.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's just different game groups.
Yep.
Mainly. My number 7, jump into lifeboats because we're going to survive the Escape from Atlantis. It's a good family game. Again, a lot of my games usually revolve around my family. The kids, my parents love the cutthroat action of taking the towel out from under somebody and making their meeple fall in, or maybe there's a shark there, so you whale their lifeboat out so that they get eaten by the sharks. And the squid expansion's a lot of fun. Just pull people off the land tiles, and hopefully you don't get eaten by a big sea monster. So
Yeah, I like this game. I like it with all the mini expansions too.
yeah.
I think adding them all in there is just the greatest thing ever.
And the new dice are cool. I think I prefer rolling the dice to see what individually moves versus you picking it, and it has a set number of movement. It kind of puts a little bit more I guess randomness to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Well, have all of y'all played it with 6?
Yes. Well,
I
I have.
remember the number I played with.
It's only 4 players unless you have the expansions.
I have not played any of the expansions, just the original.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's just 4.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like the expansions.
I want to get the squid. I want to get cracking.
Yeah.
It's a kraken. My number 6 is Lewis and Clark. It's returning from my last year's list, and the thing I like about it mostly is it is a tremendously good 3-player game, just because the mechanism where you get resources and stuff based on the people to your left and right, and just the idea of what you're doing. It's a race, but it really is just going to a certain amount of victory points, sort of, but you can lose victory points. It's just a track that you go up and down, essentially. But it's just really cool. The idea where you try to push as fast as you can, but then, you drop back too much. And so I like that tug of war and just everything you're doing in it. It's just, man, so good.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I have played the
Yes, that's why. Let's start with you.
No, this is one I did have a lot of fun with when I played with you guys, and I've been wanting to ask that we should play this again because we played it the once and haven't played it since.
Oh, man, yeah.
And it's when games, you play a good game and you remember, oh, I really like that game. Then so much time goes on, and you're like, I remember, okay, we were pushing up the river. Like, there was things going on. But what were they? So I do want to get that game back in my repertoire because I think if I play it again, especially now, if I played it second or third or fourth time, I'd really love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it with 4 players. I thought it ran a little long, but with 3, I think that's a sweet spot for it.
Yeah, I think the length dramatically increases between 3 and 4.
But other than that, yeah, fun game.
Yep.
Sweet.
All right, so my number 6 is 5 Tribes. I like the game because it just gives you tons of options. It's kind of like reverse worker placement. Like we said, you pick up a group of meeples and you scatter them about. You pick it up and you do a certain action depending on the color of meeple that you pick up. It's always fun. There's, like I said, tons and tons of choices. Probably bad for someone that has a bad AP. Yeah. But other than that, it's good with 2, 3, and 4. So I like it with all the player counts.
Yeah, I think 4 is probably my least, but it doesn't mean that it's low. Mm-hmm. It's just the lowest. And then 2 players is really fun. And 2 and 3 players is kind of the same for me as far as enjoyment, but it's different. Because with 2 players, you got the whole 2 actions. And so you can go really first and really last, or you can go tons of times in a row.
Right.
If you set it up properly. And then 3 players, I feel like is probably more of an even flow.
Right.
Sort of thing.
I think that's a perfect example of a game where they do it correctly on having different number of players. I think too many times people try to make games play the same with different number of players, and then it's just you get the best with 4, best with 5. But when you take a game like this, I think Forbidden Stars did it this way, or Tigers and Euphrates. When you make it a different game based on how many players are playing, how many actions you get, especially if you get more actions with 2 people, then it makes it viable for all 2 to 4 players, not just, we're not going to play unless we have 3.
Right. No, that makes sense. That's kind of like with Lewis and Clark. I want to play it with 3 so I don't get to play it as much. And, this game you can play it with any number, and it's a slightly different experience, but it's not a bad or,
Yeah.
So, cool.
Sweet. My number 6, I considered this very strongly for my list from last year. It got edged out because I grouped a certain type of game together and wanted to include that on my list instead. But this is Takonoko. It's a really gorgeous game. My kids, again, enjoy this a lot. They want to grow bamboo. They want to run around and eat it. And they want to make sure they get land plots out to match their cards on their objective pile. It's slightly easy too on your choices. You get, I think it's 2 actions every turn. So it's limited on choices, I guess. But I mean, it's still a fun kind of family game. And whenever I got the Chibis expansion, you can run around and make these babies and stuff. It's just funny seeing the little Miss Panda kind of run around. And you can run the male panda into her and make babies. So Takonoko.
Yeah.
Good luck explaining that to the kids.
It's one of those games where it's like, I'll play it, but I probably wouldn't ever want to. I don't hate it.
Right.
It's just that it definitely is one of those games where it's like, I'll play something else.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a gamer's game, but I mean, it's a fun, kind of family style game. Are you
going to get the deluxe version?
No, dude, I want it really bad, but it's...
Is that the huge one?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's really expensive.
Like
so,
$250?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So
that could be a
crazy.
table piece, though, when you're not playing it.
it's true. I've seen people play it, and it's really impressive, but it's not in the future. I mean, I'd love to have just that much money and go out and get it because it's pretty neat. I think they did do a large size of the expansion too. So
that's cool.
All right. Well, my number 6 is Tragedy Looper. So Tragedy Looper is a game that I like a lot because I do like puzzles. I like figuring things out. I like looking at the camera when I'm supposed to. Tim's looking at me and telling me right now, I know it. So this game...
My eye was twitching.
Yeah, I know. I can see it out of the corner of my eye.
Well, I've had like really small amounts of sleep recently. So it just keeps twitching and I'm like, whoa. Anyway, continue on.
All right, continue on. So Tragedy Looper, when I get done, my brain hurts. I feel accomplished, whether I won or lost. I love figuring out the puzzles. What did we do wrong? Okay, let's reset it. Figure out what we did wrong and build from there. So you're building information every time you go. You might try something that probably is not going to get you the win, might get you enough information on the next go to win. And I just, after I get done, it's satisfying. I feel good, but sometimes I don't feel like I can play another game for like half an hour as my brain settles down.
Have you played all the scenarios?
I haven't played all of them, no.
Gotcha. Yeah, we only played a couple, and it's definitely one of those games that's really cool, but then you're done.
Yeah, I do wonder about the replayability. I know there's ways you can build your own scenarios. We haven't tried it because we haven't played through all the scenarios.
Right.
But I do wonder if at some point we'll get to like, okay, well now we got to buy an expansion scenario book, or I don't even know if they make them.
I think they may have mentioned it in the book that they were going to, but yeah, I don't know if they have or not.
Okay.
Either way, I think it's one of those games that you get enough game out of that box.
Oh, definitely. I was going to say, even though you might solve all the puzzles, there's a ton of them there. They take a long time to do.
Yeah.
It's not something you just kind of burn through. So,
Eric, did you like this? I can't remember.
I didn't like it as much. I remember we play a lot of games and it was pretty complex. Starting it out, once we got into the swing of things, it fell through. But just starting it, I remember maybe it was late at night, but it felt really complex, and it was a hard time learning all the rules and doing all the things that you're supposed to do in the game. So
yeah, you do have to have the right kind of people also, especially if you don't have someone that does well as a mastermind type character. It can make it really just too easy for the other people playing, and they don't get that accomplishment from it. And then it's really frustrating for the person playing the
you
mastermind.
should have had me be the mastermind then instead of you.
Whatever.
I second that.
Tim killed us.
yeah.
Whoops.
My number 5 is Power Grid. I like it a lot because it's really interactive. You have the auction mechanism every round. And then also, there's a lot of resource manipulation, and the people in the last place, they have the first shot at the resources first, so they make it a little bit more expensive for, the people that are higher up, that have higher points. So has some of that aid the lowest point or aid the loser mechanism, I guess. So I like that about it as well.
Like catch up.
You're right, catch up mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Power Grid a lot. I don't know. I guess it's not a game I'm going to ask to play, but if somebody busts it out, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's got bidding, and I always feel like I suffer from the way I bid on my cards. So it's
don't you play poker a lot?
You can't bid too much.
Well, that's different. That's trying to bluff, or you just know you got power hands and stuff. This is just straight bidding. It's bidding games. I always have trouble. I guess distinguishing value for what I'm, getting and paying and stuff like that. So
Hey, I think bidding games, you got to play the game multiple times to kind of get that down.
Right.
Because otherwise you don't know, well, is this really going to be worth it? What's the payoff for it?
Right.
As I use it throughout the game kind of thing. So
my number 5 is Lords of Zidit. Aside from this game being absolutely gorgeous, I love that universe that coincides with seasons. But it's just a lot of fun. My favorite thing is the scoring in it with the coins, castles, and whatever. Prestige, thank you. I was going to say whatever it was for the area. But that whole manner of you don't know necessarily what order it'll be in, and you can pretty much lose a battle, or not a battle, but you don't have enough to continue on to the next round. So maybe you did really good in what's last, but you didn't do good enough in the first round of scoring to continue on. So it's a lot of fun to try and keep a track of what everyone else is doing and what order the scoring comes out in, and the recruiting of people and the programming to move around the map and fight things. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. So
this is probably the shortest list game on mine. I mean, this is most likely number 11. Oh man. I don't know why it's probably not in my top 10, but right. The other games, we'll come back to that next year. Right. No, but yeah, I like the idea. You can't just be good at one thing. You have to be good at all of it.
Right.
Or at
least know who to be better than.
Yeah. It's not what's the saying? You don't need to outpace you don't need to be the fastest swimmer. You just got to
I don't know
not
the saying.
That was like a George Bush thing right there. Sorry. George Bush. Anyway.
Republicans are furious.
Yeah. Have you played this?
I've played it. We actually played it together.
Oh, we
forgot.
Oh man, we played so many games, Jeremy.
This is one of those games that I sit there and go, man, why didn't I consider this? And part of it is we haven't played in a while, but yeah, I love you can't just dominate in one victory point type. You got to get multiple.
Right.
There's kind of the dance of like, okay, he's got tons more than me in this, but if I can catch him in this, make sure he's last, then I still win. And it's got programming. I love programming. Things like Robo Rally or Mechs versus Minions. So both those things put together in one game are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually replaced Robo Rally for me because I like the I like the movement in this game over how everything works out in Robo Rally. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Side note, Jeremy, you look like you're flying an airplane or a helicopter with those
nice
headsets.
headphones?
Yeah,
Oh,
look at
yeah.
those things, man. I didn't think about this the whole time. It's like Apache time. You got a helicopter game on your list?
No, I wish. No, I so wish. I'll work it in. Don't worry, I'll work it in.
All right, next time I'll go. All right, that's a terrible. Where's the guy from Police Academy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, what's your number 5?
All right. My number 5 is Time Stories for one simple reason. I love experiences. If I can play a game once and have a single great experience, I will remember that game forever, even if I don't play it again. I've had these kind of experiences in other games, but in this one, you can't really play. You can play the first mission or whatever they call it multiple times, but you're going to know everything at that point. So I love the unknown. I don't really know what to do, how to do it. Figure it out as I go. It's the same when I read books. I can't reread books or rewatch movies because the unknown is so exciting to me. It's hard to enjoy it because I don't enjoy it for the story anymore because I already know, okay, this is how it ends. So that's how it is with Time Story. It is an experience for me. I do it once and I remember it pretty much for the rest of my life.
I'm actually surprised you don't play a lot of RPGs. You know, like going through some of the modules and stuff like that.
So I did play a lot of D&D as a kid, and we've tried to, as we got older, play it again, but time constraints, we want to play board games. So if we play, it's like once a month, and it's kind of hard to keep the story going when you're only playing once a month. So I would play it, but now it's more timing with the people who would play with me.
Fair enough. I think this is the one game that's going to end up on Eric's top 10 next year, if he gets it.
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I can't wait. Get it, Eric.
Just borrow it from Daniel. You don't have to buy it.
Oh, good.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, I mean, buy it. Support the guy. He
support
did a
your guys.
great game, so buy it from him. Give him money so he makes more, please.
Fair enough. My number 5 is a game that was higher up on my list last year, and that's Blood Bowl Team Manager, the card game. Long name, fun results. It's kind of funny because I'm not very much of a sports guy, even though I'm more so into sports now just because of fantasy football and things like that. But I really like the idea of, it's kind of like a smash up-esque kind of game where you're trying to like just take over cards, and these cards represents highlights from games that happen in the weeks. But what you're doing and the fact that you can cheat and flip over these cheating tokens, and you don't know what you're going to get. It's kind of like the press your luck aspect there. And there's just, the teams play not really totally different, but they have a lot of different special abilities that are unique to their faction. And just overall, it's a great game. I do like Blood Bowl, the miniature game. That's really long though, but it's good. Anyway, what do y'all think about this?
I like it a lot. If you only have an hour, then maybe not play that. But
I think we made that joke last year. I'm like, all right, we got 45 minutes. We can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
40 minutes into explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My bad.
No, it's a good time.
Well, cool.
Jeremy, have you played it?
I have not, but it makes me think of the old game NFL Blitz, where you always turn cheating on.
Oh, yeah. Like the
'Cause it's-
N64 game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so much more fun to cheat and be able to like tackle people right when they're about to catch it.
See, the biggest thing about Blood Bowl is it's not a foul to bring a chainsaw. It's only when you try to use it.
My number 4 is Marco Polo, or The Voyages of Marco Polo. I like it a lot because it has variable player powers, which they all seem a little bit overpowered, but that's a good part about the game. You always are envious of someone else's player powers, and then also there's always a lot of different paths to victory, so you don't have to do the same thing every game. And then there's a lot of replayability in it because the board game changes every time the cards that you put down. So,
yeah, I could see this. The more we play it, the more I'm going to like it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the replayability is just way up there.
This jumped up there quick, didn't it, Eric?
yeah.
He was like, instantly, I made a good purchase.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. Again, I tried to stick with things I own, but yeah, it's definitely a really fun game. I look forward to playing it more. So luckily, if it's that high on your list, I'll see it more.
I like how much mitigation there are to the dice. You roll the dice randomly, but you do want low numbers. You do want high numbers. You can spin camels to re-roll them or add pips to your dice. I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Jeremy?
From now on, if I play the game, I'll raise my hand.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Ooh.
Me, pick up, call me.
My number 4, again, is a good family game, I believe, from one of my more colorful gaming companies, Yellow, but Medieval Academy. I got this, I guess, last year at Gen Con, I believe. I can't remember. Dates don't matter. But anyways, I picked it up, took it home. It's got card drafting. Me and the kids did enjoy Sushi Go a lot, but this kind of puts a little bit more meat on it because it's got the boards and you're trying to advance on them to get certain points or be ahead of people because you get points by places. It's got detrimental boards that you definitely want to, give money to the beggar, or I think it's increase your library or something because it gives you pretty hefty penalties if you don't do that. And it's just a lot of fun. I also like the fact that you use, I think it's 4 of the 5 cards that you draft. So you can kind of go around what other people are doing or wait and see what they might advance on and kind of jockey around on the boards like that. So,
yeah, that is the key to me for a drafting game. I want 1 extra card so I don't have to just get stuck with that last card.
Yeah, and
that is fantastic.
It also does your favorite thing. With 4 players, you're going to see your first hand. Well, no, I guess you're getting whatever was left over. But
yeah. I mean, it takes a drafting game that has a lot of cards for you to see your hand a couple of times.
Right.
That's also my second favorite thing. That happens in 7 Wonders, right? Isn't there a lot of cards that pass out on that? I haven't played it in a long time.
Same thing happens in Seasons.
Oh, yeah, Seasons.
Yes.
Yeah, Seasons has a whole drafting at the beginning of the game, which was actually on my list last year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it shows up. Oh. It doesn't.
No. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Anyway, Jeremy.
My hand was not raised.
Oh, no, I meant your turn.
My turn. All right, number 4 for me. Guys, I'm going to make a last minute change.
Oh, on the fly?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Helicopter game?
I'm going to call this Agricola.
Oh, you're shoving Agricola and Caverna together?
Yes.
Okay.
I originally put Caverna there, but the more I was sitting here talking about it or thinking about it while I wasn't listening to Matt because I didn't play the game and so I had nothing to say, I realized that there are still things I really love about Agricola, and I can play either. I really enjoy it. The only thing about Agricola I don't get into much is I don't like the card system that much, but other than that, I still love the game. So if you sit down and say, let's play Agricola, yes, let's do it. If you play Caverna, yes, let's do it. I'm not going to argue for one over the other. Caverna might have a slightly higher, that if there was a tilting scales, I might push it that way. But I'm not going to disenjoy the other. And it's hard for me to say it's completely replaced it for me. If I have the choice, yes, I'm going to go for Caverna. But I could still break out Agricola and have fun with it.
I remember the first time we played Agricola, you're like, I love this game.
Yes, I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was even like halfway through it, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still own the copy that doesn't have all the cool meeples, like the veggie or not veggie meeples, the animeeples. Yeah.
I will say that though, Agricola I think was like number 7 on my list last year. So
it's
smashing Caverna in there with it for Agricola is rose it to the 4th spot.
Agricola.
Now, have you played with any of the add-on decks, or I guess they're replacement decks?
The intermediate decks. We played with the intermediate decks. We never played with the advanced. My problem with the card system always was that it seemed too many times that I either got a really good combo to play with, or I got not much of a good combo to play with. So it's like either the cards mattered a lot or they mattered little to me.
What about drafting?
We didn't think of that.
I mean, that would be cool, right?
Yeah,
because that's not in the book.
Nice.
I don't think.
No.
I wonder if they do that in like tournaments and stuff.
Maybe, yeah, drafting or even like pulling twice as many cards, or 1.5 as many, and being able to choose. But I just felt so in a game that requires so much control over what you do and like out maneuvering, outsmarting people. It feels you have so little control over that aspect of it.
Fair enough. That settles it, Matt. Read Caverna and bring it to game night.
Yeah.
All right.
My number 4 which actually might have been in the same spot as last year, but it's the World of Warcraft board game. A lot of people out there are like cringing at this, but I don't really care because it's so fun. What's really interesting is because, I've played World of Warcraft ever since Vanilla WoW, which is the initial release, and everything you do in this game, especially if you have the Burning Crusade expansion, and I think the Shadow of War expansion just adds tons of cards, but if you have it all, it is a total RPG package, MMO style. It really matters what cards you pick, your talents and everything. You can build a character. You can play that same character next time, and it's totally different, a different role. And you can go through dungeons, and you can just get tons of items. It's glorified. It's really fun. I really like it.
I like the two. You block out your day for it.
Yep.
I will block out the day for it. That we talked about. I think it was on your top 10 last year.
Yeah,
and I think we talked about last year how everybody's sitting there playing. We look at the clock and it's like, oh wow, we did not eat dinner. What time is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you really do not see the time ticking by slowly. It is a lot of fun. It keeps you engaged the entire time.
Right.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things is how, your team can be doing like the whole planning out and things like that while the other team is doing their turn.
Right.
And that's super important because the downtime, as long as the other team doesn't take a long time, the downtime is pretty slim.
Yeah, really minimal, which I think is really important for long games.
Oh, yeah.
Long games with lots of downtime is you just get bored so easily. That's when you get people playing side games on their phones while they're waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Or playing WoW.
Yeah.
Then also one good thing to say about it is even after like 6 hours, you're not thinking, when is this game going to be over? So you're engaged the whole time. You're having fun the whole time. So even though it takes a long time, it's worth the time.
I think it's because it's progressive. You're building your character. You're seeing it's almost like an RPG, except not so much RPG. So
Right. And we only played it once. And I think the thing that will always stand out in my mind and impress me the most was it came down to one turn.
Yeah.
On who
It
won.
was so close.
yeah, I keep forgetting you've only played it once.
Yeah.
But I mean, you feel like you played it 50 times.
Right.
Because like 14 hours is a lot of gaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
My number 3, you better get your lies in order because you're trying to sneak contraband past the sheriff of Nottingham. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you get to lie.
keep going. I think everybody had a totally different idea of what the game was going to be.
Okay, awesome. This is the other lying game. So it's fun, trying whoever's the sheriff, trying to outwit them, make them think maybe you got contraband, but guess what? You pay me now. So it's just a lot of fun. It's fairly quick. Was it 1 or 2 times around? I can't remember.
3?
Is it? No, it can't.
I think everybody's the sheriff twice. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
twice. So it gives a second chance at someone, or maybe they were honest the first time and they take advantage of that the second time. Or the only time it's bad is whenever you get someone that everyone can kind of push over and they all take advantage of them. And I always feel bad for that sheriff. But
Yeah.
it's a good game.
Yeah, I consider this one too. I feel like I always want to bust this out with 6 players, and I can't.
Yeah,
And it saddens me. But apparently it's coming. So
supposedly.
I love this game when we have the one rule that there is limited time to how much you can role play the sheriff role.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this last time, I believe.
Yeah, I've just played too many of those games where it's just like, man, this should have been done an hour ago, and we're still here.
Yeah, 0 role playing.
yeah, I think as we played it, we kind of killed off the role playing.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think we've
do
ever
that.
gave a story or anything.
We did at first.
Yeah.
Like maybe the first game, it's hilarious.
Right.
But then it's just fun to like taunt people.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you think I have?
Right.
Yeah,
Stuff like
do
that.
it. I dare you to open it.
Yeah. Do it. So anyway.
I always like paying people off, Here's 5 money. Let my stuff go through.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
So I think there's
Bribery.
another line game that's going to be a little higher on Matt's list.
Yeah,
Don't know.
maybe.
Maybe I'm lying.
Well, continuing on.
Number 3, right? Yes, number 3. My number 3 is Pandemic Legacy. Last year I had Risk Legacy on the top 10. I now realize that the only reason it's there is because of the Legacy system. I never really liked Risk. Now they put out a game that I really like, Pandemic. I love that game, and now Pandemic Legacy, and it really pushed it up for me. Again, like Time Stories, and it's an experience.
Oh yeah, we just started playing through it. So obviously we're going to keep this spoiler free.
Yes.
For those
Yeah.
of you watching. So
Yeah.
sorry if
So
I'll edit it out if anybody says anything else.
we can't really talk about it much then.
Yeah, I mean, well, just talk about pandemic, I guess. Well, that's
Right. Everybody knows
it doesn't do justice
pandemic.
to it. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I mean, this is like, it's really, really fun. And the stuff that's happening in the game is really cool.
Well, and people know the legacy system where there's unknowns that you don't know about that you're finding out about. It's all the packages that you get.
Cracking those open?
Cracking those open. So for me, again, like I said with Time Stories, the unknown and the discovery is really, really fun. And so this is just another way to scratch that itch and get the enjoyment out of like, oh, what's in here?
Have you finished it?
We finished, yeah.
Okay. We're like, in March?
Yeah, we'll be starting March next time we get
March?
together.
Right.
Yeah. Season 2 is announced. He's happy.
He's happy.
I'm going to get it.
My number 3 was also on the list last year, and it's Mage Wars. Mage Wars is the quintessential, I want to be a miniature game, but I'm not. I'm a card game where you build your deck, which is a spell book. So it's got some cool things about it. It plays like a miniature game or a tactical kind of miniature game, like not really like Final Fantasy Tactics, but similar idea. But the coolest thing is you have the spell book, you flip through the book, and you pick the cards you want for that round. So it eliminates the whole, net decking thing. You can still net deck kind of, but I mean, for the most part, it makes more sense, what they're trying to put in there. And it doesn't give you that big of advantage like a CCG would. So anyway, if I can get these guys to play it with me more,
Yeah.
I would.
Oh.
If I can get Jeremy to play it at all.
No, or was that you've played it?
I've played it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, Matt, I didn't really like it.
Oh, that's
Oh.
because you played with the wrong people. No,
I almost called you Matt.
you did. I heard that.
Yeah.
I stopped it in time. You'll edit that out, please.
I don't know. It's you got me very interested in it. It's something I just didn't want to put the time and effort into it. I love the way it's the way you build your spell book, the rules that go with it and everything. So and the what is it? If it's out of your school, then you got to pay like a little extra or something like
You
that.
pay
And
double, but if it's one that's like a weakness, then you pay triple.
right.
whatever.
So it's really cool that you can pretty much pack anything at a cost.
Yeah, it's not like a CCG where you're limited to the type, like the faction or the colors or whatever. You can put anything you want in this deck, but it just costs you more.
Right.
I'm sure, I can't remember if some of them are actually, I mean, obviously some of them are legendary and such like that, or epic to where you can't pick it,
Right.
or it's mage only kind of thing. So, but man, I want to play this. I have not played it 2-on-2, and I so want to play it like this because the domination I've had that expansion for a while, and it's definitely one of those games where you can sit down and just build decks and build spell books, and then by yourself. And
I forget the other two games we're playing after this, so why not that?
all right, fair enough. That'll take forever.
Yeah.
It's a longer
No,
game.
it's a joke.
New Orleans, that was the one.
Yeah.
New Orleans?
Actually,
New Orleans.
what I was going to say about it is one thing that I didn't like about it is you either all have to have a copy of the game so you can build your own spellbook, or one person has to build all the spellbooks for everybody, or you have to all sit around and wait it out while everybody builds their own individual spellbook. So,
But there's an app.
oh
Oh, yeah. I think it costs money, but there's an app. So if everybody had the app, then you could just build all your spell books outside of the presence of the owner.
Can you do pre-built spellbook?
Yeah, I did that. I pre-built a few of them just from the recommendations.
I mean, from the app.
in the rule book.
Build me one.
I don't know. I don't have the app.
Get that.
I know it exists.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric.
3. Oh, my number 3 is Castles of Burgundy. I like it a lot.
Stefan Feld.
Yeah. You have a lot of combo actions for one. You build a castle, allows you to do something else, which allows you to do another action. So I like that aspect about it. It seems really tight. Good mechanics in it. So it's one of my favorite games to play with the wife. So it's up there.
I want to play it more, Eric. Why don't we bust that out more?
Yeah, we should.
I think I've only played it once.
Yeah.
Matt, you
shame.
played it.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah. Have you
It's,
played this? You didn't raise your hand.
No.
Fair enough. Okay, sorry. We'll put this on the list.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Very
There's
long.
gonna be so many comments. Jeremy doesn't play games.
Right? He's terrible. Get him out of there.
It is interesting. Taking a side note that the library of games that me, Matt, and Eric have, and then you and Daniel and that group is like dramatically different.
Oh yeah,
and it's
gotta be
hundreds
like
of games.
It's got to be like a 10 to 20% identical rate where you got the same. It's
all the common stuff.
Yeah.
Like Ticket to Ride or King of Tokyo and stuff like that. But the rest of it, all the obscure things or the lesser known or whatever you want to call it, it's like totally different.
Night and day.
Yeah.
I'm going to force one of you guys to be on a podcast with three of us so you can not raise your hand.
Fair enough.
All right. My number 2 is none other than Mage Knight, the board game. I absolutely love this game because it is epic every time I play it. I love starting out and then building up to this huge battle at the end. So you're taking one guy here, one guy there. Then you might take on some bigger guys and also, bam, you have enough cards and enough power to take on this huge city. And I just feel so powerful. Every time I play, I'm like, did you see all these guys I took out? And the guy's sitting there, he's like, I know, did you see all the guys I took out? And we're just like looking back and forth, like, how did we do this? Like, how do we build up from barely taking on these little squishy guys up front to now massively taking out these cities? And so it just feels like a big epic, almost like the WoW board game, how you say you build up and there's excitement, you're leveling up. It's the same for me. Oh, I got this card. This will go great with this card that I got. I can build this, and then I can get these together and make this great combo.
Yeah, I will say this is the better game as far as design and everything. WoW just has a soft spot, right? Because, we like World of Warcraft and just the idea of rolling tons of dice. It's more Ameritrashy, I guess.
Right.
I hate that word.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is the game that every time Matt wants to play an adventure game, we're like, we play one. He's like, well, that was all right. And I'm like, we got to play Mage Knight. This game was all right. Well, we got to play Mage Knight. We're going to do it.
Tim suggested us trying to fit this in before we did this to see if it would make it into my top 10.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, not like right before we.
No. Like a few weeks ago, he was kind of like, "You want to try and fit it in?" And I was like, well, we'll just wait. Maybe it'll make the list next year or something like that." So it definitely intrigues me. I really want to play it. I don't know why Tim keeps it from me and won't let me play it with him.
And I own everything.
So, maybe sometime we'll get it out. I think a lot of times you're trying to play new stuff that you got and stuff like that. Of course, Eric's doing the same thing. So
we actually got to do those reviews, man.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of winding down on her. So maybe if you get it in there,
I'll play it with you.
That's sweet.
Yeah, we actually played a 5-person game one time.
Sorry.
How long did that take?
It had to be like 8 or 9 hours.
I was gonna say I heard the 3 is pretty long. So.
Yeah, 3 is long. So 2 of those people were also new.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And they just want to jump in the full game. So I definitely would not do it again. It was quite an experience. We actually had 2 groups of 5 people because we had so many people that wanted to play. And then we tallied up our scores together to see who would win. So almost competed against each other.
Wow, you played 2 5-player games and then compared the scores of everyone?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Did y'all finish around the same time?
I think the group that only had 1 new person finished like an hour early.
Oh, wow. That's kind of cool, though.
Really early. But it was quite an experience. But I agree. Yeah, 3 people for me is max if they all know how to play well. And they don't get AP.
Mm-hmm.
But
fair enough.
I can really enjoy it with 2.
Either way, that totally destroys what I thought Jeremy's number 1 was. So, this will be interesting. My number 2 is Nations, the dice game. This jumped up, I think, quite a bit from last year. And, man, every time we played this, and I forced him to play it all the time. For a while there, we played it a bunch. But, I mean, it's just so good. If you like dice, but you still like to have some sort of strategy behind it, and it's not just chucking dice on the table, which is fun, but this adds a game to it as well. No offense to other games, but just the idea, it's a civilization game, but it doesn't really feel like one. It feels like just buying tiles and going up and up and up and up. And the game's real short. Not that that's a necessary thing, but it's short enough to where you're like, I always want more. I think if it was really long, then I wouldn't have liked it as much, but man, it is so good. And on top of that, I also put in here Nations that we finally played, because every time I played Nations, the dice game, I said, man, this is really good. I want like 5 expansions for it. And then we played Nations, and it's like, this is like 5 expansions for it.
Right.
Jeremy, if you played either, this is like a running joke.
Yeah, we played it with the Engelsteins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Yeah. What about the actual Nations game?
No, I didn't play that one.
Well, it wouldn't take much to play it. I mean, the rule set's really similar. So
It's translated very well into a dice game.
yes, you feel like, it's like I want to play Nations, but I don't have a lot of time. Nations, the dice game, scratches that itch.
Right.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it when we played it, but I do reject the idea of what you said that you guys played this a lot. I can't imagine you guys playing a game more than twice.
Oh, we played it a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim made us play it every week.
Yes.
Oh man, this is like my dream.
Yeah, we played it a dozen times, but some of that was beta testing and expansion. So.
Yeah.
But he was super excited about it whenever it first came out.
Oh yeah, so it's so fun. I think I burnt them out on it, honestly.
We played it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a quick game though.
Yeah, it is quick.
So it's
45 minutes. Man.
Right.
It does feel like you have to kind of go one route that seems to win more often, which is
The wonders.
building the wonders. That's the only thing I don't really like about it. I always try to do something different, not build any wonders. Basically, it hasn't worked out for me.
Oh, fair enough.
Wonders are broke.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Terra Mystica, and I like it a lot again because there's a lot of replayability in the box. 14 different factions or whatever you want, like to call it, races. There's a good amount of decision making in it. Every round there's a bonus tile that comes out or that's out that you can either do your own thing, or you might want to do what gives you a bonus amount of points for that round. So a lot of decisions to be made and a lot of replayability.
This is a hefty game.
Yeah.
Hefty game.
Yeah. It reminds me of what I said with Amerigo. Again, I don't own this. I did play it with Eric. When we got done, I wanted to play it again. I mean, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So it was it's a pretty good game. So, but like I said, it wasn't. I wasn't going to throw it in here just because I liked it from one play. So it's a good game. Solid.
Yeah, I look forward to playing it again.
And no two games would be the same.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
another
with all
thing
the
I like about
factions.
it. Yeah.
Did you get the expansion yet?
I haven't. I haven't even busted it out because there's so much to experience in the base game
yeah.
still.
No, that's fair.
I do like how you can have unique games every time. You have 14 different options, and all of them will interact differently. And I do enjoy that a lot in a game, especially when you feel like you're different enough, like from the other person, that you're unique yourself. Not only is the game unique compared to the last one you played, but you're unique yourself compared to the other people.
Right.
Right.
You're not just another player, and you're green and you're blue, and we're essentially the same.
Wake Up Werewolves. It's the other Lion game I think that they thought I was going to put on here, but it's One Night Werewolf. I mean, it doesn't. It's not?
No, it's
I
not.
know you're number one.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's the other Lion game. All right. So Lion's a theme with me, but I mean, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. It's obvious. I think everyone pretty much knows about it. You just lie and try and be a werewolf and kill villagers.
Matt's favorite thing to do apparently is lie.
Yeah.
I just want to play Lion games.
Yeah, I actually remember this being the funny theme last year, but it's a lot of fun. You got the app, you can play, bust it out of parties. It's a good time. It's a easy game for non-gamers to jump in and play with. It takes, of course, it might overwhelm them at first, but I mean they always get the swing of it and they always ask for more. It seems like with new gamers I experience it with. So
This is definitely like what, Lay's potato chips. You don't just eat one.
Yeah.
Is that the right branding? Sorry.
I think so. Yeah,
multiple.
or Pringles,
Pringles. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Comment. Oh man,
maybe.
Yeah.
it's something. Tell us below.
Yeah, someone will.
Make fun.
This
of
is
us.
someone's favorite potato chip, and they're getting really upset right now.
This is an all caps comment.
Oh man.
Well, also a lot of people would call it a filler game, I guess, because it's really short. But
Yeah, but you play it 15 times in a row.
Yeah.
whenever we bust it out, we're playing it all night long.
Yeah, of these type of games, I have to agree that consider it filler games, or I wouldn't say quite party, but maybe heavy party game. Of those type of games, I don't generally enjoy them, or I play one, I'm like, let's get something more hefty. But yeah, we play this, and I'm like, all right, let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 a.m. All right, let's go again. It's 3 a.m. Okay, let's keep going.
That's why I always insist this is the last game we play.
Yeah.
If we're gonna play this, you might as well put everything else back in your bags.
Right.
So next up, before we get to our number ones, we're going to talk about an honorable mention that necessarily isn't a game that's on our short list, but a game that may not have made it on any of your lists because for some reason. So we're going to start with Matt.
Yes, this is the same as last year because I will not ever do a list like this. And spoiler alert, this will probably be every year. It's just Warcraft, period. I am in love with Warcraft, the real-time strategy games, whether it's Hearthstone, whether it's the TCG that I played, the WoW miniature game, the WoW board game, just all of it, the WoW online game, obviously. So just anything Warcraft, I love. The movie, I was fairly pleased with, and thank you, China, for giving me a second one. And so hopefully we can keep that going and eventually get to Arthas and the Lich King storyline because I really look forward to it. So
yeah, and in case you haven't seen last year's top 10, I think we mentioned your tattoos.
yeah,
One sleeve is what?
Final Fantasy. The other one is Warcraft.
Fair enough.
That tells you how much he loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my honorable mention. Maybe I didn't follow the rules completely, but I'm not changing it now.
Is it your number 11?
It's not my number 11. My honorable mention is Mechs versus Minions. And I put it as my honorable mention because I just started playing it. I don't know if it's too new for me to decide if I want to have it as a contender. But at the same time, I'm having tons of fun with it. And there's just something about me. I can't explain it what it is that I can't put it in a top 10 quite yet, that I haven't played it enough. But I really want to mention it because there's nothing like going out there as this mech. And if you guys haven't seen the box, I mean, it's a high production box.
Seen pictures.
Yeah. And there's just something nice about just like taking your arm and just swiping off all these minions because they're just dying like crazy. They got 1 health. You're just this mech out there, dozens and dozens of guys. They're going down. There's just some like satisfaction to that. It's not an 8-hour boss fight against one guy. It's just like, I'm going to squash 5 guys right now. I'm just going to run through these guys. All right, they're dead.
That's pretty fun. But I do like the 8-hour boss fight.
Yeah.
Or not maybe 8 hours, but
But you got it.
fair enough. My honorable mention is a game that I've retired from my list, and that's the World of Warcraft miniature game. The reason I'm doing this, though, is because I feel like it's not fair to not really fair. I don't know who I'm being fair to, but it's one of those games where the license went away, the game stopped being produced, and so the game's no longer there, and I haven't played it since. So, it's hard for me to keep it on a top 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's almost like putting an old CCG on your top 10 and you don't ever play it anymore. Yeah, it was really cool, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it's time to retire it from the top 10. Now, if I did a top 50 or something, it would probably be in it. Mm-hmm. But since I only really care about my top 10,
yeah,
it's time to retire it.
Right.
But it is freaking awesome. And if they brought it back,
I wouldn't be upset.
I would not be upset. As a matter of fact, I would be ecstatic.
Yes.
They really should just bring the game back with a different theme of it. I mean,
That's true.
They don't have to use World of Warcraft. I mean, that helped a lot, but you can use another IP, and I mean, the game is that fun. So
I would like to try it one day.
Yeah,
we'll play it. We keep telling Eric about it, but it's worth playing.
Yes.
Cool. So my honorable mention is it's actually Pandemic Legacy because that we're through the first 2 campaigns and we haven't experienced all that hopefully it's going to give us. Right now, I guess there's not a lot of new things that were doled out to us during the first 2. So I'm hoping
we've only opened 1 pack,
right,
or 1 box. We open up little things.
So we do kind of find enjoyment of naming our characters and naming, the diseases. So that's been fun.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a legacy game.
Right.
You know you're going to be putting the pin on the board
Right.
and stuff. So
yeah.
So much like what Jeremy said, I mean, you just haven't played it enough to really see if it fits on the top 10.
Right.
I consider this also. Not as an honorable mention, but even just throw on like maybe a low spot on my list. But I felt like I needed to actually get at least maybe halfway through the game to
Experience it more.
Yeah,
See some of the big changes.
Exactly. So
That's fair. I think it's about time we have some fun. What do you think?
Let's do it.
I mean, that basically suggests that everybody else is bored, but you know what I'm saying? So we're going to play a game to determine the order of the number 1.
To determine the order in which we will say the top 1, we are playing Happy Salmon. This guy.
All right.
Ready? Zach.
3, 2, 1, go.
Pound it. Yeah, high five. Nothing.
Switcheroo.
High five. There we go.
Pound it. Pound it.
Oh.
Flip your cards. Pound it.
High five.
Happy Salmon.
High five.
Happy Salmon. Switcheroo.
Pound it. Switch it. Happy Salmon.
Pound it.
Dang it. Happy Salmon. Happy Salmon. High five.
All right. Pound it again.
Happy Salmon.
Pound it. Yeah.
High five.
Happy Salmon. Switcheroo. Happy Salmon. Yeah.
High five.
Pound it.
Happy Salmon. Pick your cards up. All right, so I had 3 left. How many did you have?
One.
Slow 4.
Oh, all right. So it'll be Eric, me, Jeremy, Matt. Right?
Yeah.
Good times.
My number 1, again from last year, is One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I guess we kind of talked about it enough that I don't really have any more to add to it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Awesome game. We've played it with 4 people. We've played it with 10 people. It's fun with either, and it actually is viable with 4 players. So
Now, is your top number 1 just One Night Ultimate ...
no, I would actually say if I had to choose one, it would be Ultimate Werewolf, because we did play Vampire. I do have Daybreak, but if you had to just play one of them, Werewolf is where's that?
That's fair.
Yeah.
And it might be because we're so familiar with the Werewolf one that it just makes sense for us. Where Vampire as marks, so it makes it a little bit tougher to see exactly or determine what happened that night. Where you might have more of what's going on at night in something that you're more familiar with.
Yeah, I thought it would make it a little fresh because it adds another layer. But ultimately, I agree with you. I think I like base Werewolf better, or even Daybreak added in.
Right.
I'm fine with that. And honestly, you could probably take, which we haven't done yet, or at least I haven't, is take some of the Vampire guys and put them into Werewolf.
Well, that's upcoming. You can put them all together, and there's werewolves versus vampires.
Stay
versus
tuned.
Villagers. So we haven't done that yet, but we'll do it.
Fair enough. My number 1, think it's going to be different. No, it is War Machine / Hordes. This is a miniature game, and I literally own 1,000 models for this game. I own tons and tons of models, and the thing is, I just cannot, for the life of me, think that this would drop anything off this list because they keep bringing out new stuff. They got the new edition out that came out, a couple months ago. And it's just amazing as far as a skirmish level, or maybe not skirmish, because you got about 30 models a player, give or take, on most games. And just the mechanisms that are happening in this chess-like environment are just tremendously fun. And there's so much strategy, and you're like, oh, how come I didn't think of this as you get handed the game. So,
Right.
Now, I don't want to buy my own stuff, but you said
You don't need to.
You said one day we would try it out.
I have plenty, and I own almost every faction. So
He's already let me play with them, so.
Oh yeah, I did take it to work.
Friend.
Nice.
Oh, let's see. All right, Jeremy. I have 0 clue. Actually, I can't even guess. Your number
Really?
1.
So if I'm not a helicopter pilot, I'm a spaceship pilot. You guys know this.
Go
Damage
ahead.
report. No.
My number 1 is Cosmic Encounter.
Oh, fair enough.
So this game, I love it just because if you've seen it, there's like some 165 different aliens you can play. Every single game is different. We talked about that a little bit earlier with some games, but really and truly, every alien interaction, how you play, every time we sit down at the table, we have a different game, and it's fun to negotiate. Everybody's in on the action every single turn, so there's no downtime. Do you want in? Do you want to come in with me? Do you want to ally with me? What can you throw in? What can you do to him? And it seems like the entire time, everybody's engaged with it. Everybody in our group loves it. And when I think I might get bored with it, I don't ever have that thought, but I can just pick a different alien. I've never played him before. Let me see how that works out.
Yeah. I play it quite a bit, and you're right. Every game, the powers just dramatically change it.
Yeah.
So
How do you feel have you even played the Game of Thrones
I thought he was going to ask this.
version of this, or seen it, or know enough to compare them?
I have not played it. So I don't know enough to compare it.
Okay.
No. I'm actually kind of surprised. I had no idea there was one.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You think
Fantasy
I'd want
Flight.
you? Yeah. I did know there was Ascendancy, the Star Trek /
the Mage Knight.
So I gotta make sure I still have street cred here by knowing that and telling you I know that. But no, I did not know.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, well, drum roll for the last number 1 here, Matt.
It's another lion game, and Tim's the traitor. It's Shadows over Camelot. It's medieval theme. I love medieval theme. You got all these different fronts you're trying to fight, whether it's the Picts or the Saxons. You're trying to do the Holy Grail. You know, you're worrying about this girl in this lake over here. You got this Black Knight you got to worry about. All in the meantime, people are doing shady stuff, but they say they're helping you, but everything just looks shady to everybody else. There's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of tension. You don't know what's going on, and then bam, here comes the traitor. And they usually have got all the armor, or they've already acquired the armor in some way because they tricked everybody, or they're holding all the Merlin cards or something. They're screwing the group somehow. So it's a big slap in the face when you do find them and you see that hand, and it's like, wow, awesome. So
Yeah, this dropped off my list a little bit, but it's still probably in my top 20, definitely.
yeah.
And honestly, the last time we played it, I'm highly saddened that the fact that there wasn't 2 traitors. With the expansion, because
Right.
we had the expansion and we put 2 traitor cards in there.
That might be too hard.
I think it would be awesome if you were the traitor.
Yes.
But yeah, fun game. Fun game.
Yeah, I really enjoy that game a lot. So I concur with your decision on that game.
Sweet.
Cool.
So actually, with that, I think they did the trade mechanic a lot better than, say, Dead of Winter, because in Dead of Winter, if you're the trader, you're probably going to win.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because the survivors are kind of traitors anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But
What?
but in Camelot,
Well, because you're like, well, I mean, I can
I can
do
help the
this.
group.
I can help your group, and I lose individually.
Oh, because that. So
Yeah.
you're
why
saying
aren't
there's
you
not a lot of
contributing?
martyrs. Yeah.
I'm right. Yeah. So I mean, thematically, it's amazing, but
Yeah.
if you're just talking,
I understand now.
fair enough.
but yeah, I think in this game you have to work to win. Where almost in Dead of Winter, trader, you're almost giving it.
Well, you don't win. It's just the good guys lose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we suck at the game. Bam. We starve to death. Trader wins. Well, cool.
That's it.
That's it. That's our top 10. Second time doing this. So
Yes.
amazing. Hopefully
Yeah.
it sounded a lot better than last time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No way it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at timjennette@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at the handle below. We also have a podcast. It's called Meeple Core, and you can check it on iTunes. And any final thoughts before we sign off?
Another fun one.
Cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, anyway, until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.